So today's talk, what we're going to look at, we're going to have an idea of what crypto assets actually are from a legal perspective, but also practically. So that will tie us into looking at a bit of blockchain basics and the classification of crypto assets. Then we're going to look at locating and identifying those assets generally, but tied in with the state administration, how we access those assets again generally, but then how it all ties in from a state administration perspective when advising personal representatives or acting as professional executors. And then we'll tie it all in at the end, looking at crypto assets and a bit of comparison with digital assets, which I think digital estates are more familiar to people now. So that'll just be a nice sort of comparison to tie in where everything sits with that. Pulling all that together, we wouldn't be able to have a chat around Bury Bitcoin and beyond without talking about poor old James Howells, who is still trying to access his hard drive that he threw away, which I think is in a landfill somewhere in Wales. His latest scheme to try and get access to that has financial backing. He's got £11 million of investment to help him basically comb through the rubbish to find his hard drive, which has an obscene amount of Bitcoin on it. If you think people are willing to put in 11 million because the value there is hundreds of millions in Bitcoin, bless him, he's still trying to get some purchase from the council who aren't playing ball. Again, you assume you got the private key to access that wallet on the hard drive. If not, that would be another issue to then contend with. And I'm sure financial backers wouldn't be doing that if they thought that was an issue. But for poor old James, it's to be continued for now, I think. But that just highlights, I suppose, he's alive and he's lost his wallet. What chance have we got in advising personal representatives or acting as executors if we've got nothing? And that's where it comes back, following the breadcrumbs of what information is there and what devices are there, and then if you can get access, the breadcrumbs within the transaction history to see where things might have gone, where things might be, to really sort of fully understand that. I've mentioned AML. I thought it was just worth having a slide on it. It makes me a little bit fidgety in my seat. I'm not a massive fan of grasping at all these sorts of things, but it is worth noting that crypto assets are classed as medium risk as per the 2020 UK National Risk Assessment. So we need to be really mindful of doing CDD on that and really understanding where the source of funds have come from and how they're interacting, because it's a big sort of decentralized space, and there is concern around sort of money laundering and terrorist funding within that. So it's just really mindful of that when you're looking at that from a risk perspective at the outset of a matter, really, and ongoing as things evolve and you get access to the information that's there. Just to note that cryptocurrency exchanges and custodial services are regulated by the FCA, so there is some protection there and some recourse if things aren't going to plan or people aren't doing things you want them to. But everything else is up for grabs in the sense of regulation or not, as the case may be, which is a little bit scary.